Here, going live for another episode of Dear Ashley. I'm always excited to be with you every week. If you are joining me live, please say hello. If you are catching the replay, also say hello. I want to know that you are here and if this content is supporting you. So a couple weeks ago, if you haven't been around for a Dear Ashley episode, I started asking my audience on Instagram, which also connects to Facebook, so you can find it there as well, what questions they have about their body. And so I'm coming on every week and answering those questions. And this week, the question came in about how can I stop clenching my jaw constantly and grinding my teeth. And this is an issue for many people. I don't grind my teeth, but I will find that I hold my jaw. And so I'll give you insight into that today and give you some techniques for releasing tension within the body. So, if we have not met, my name is Ashley DePaulis, and I help high achievers reach their next level by getting out of their minds and into their bodies. Because a lot of times we are limited in our experience and reaching our next level because we are stuck in our minds trying to figure it out or stressing or worrying about what's going on in other people's minds that have to do with us. We're so worried about everybody else and not ourselves. And that gets locked up in the body. And we have past conditioning that causes this. We have beliefs that cause this. And in the question that was asked today, you'll see some of that show up. So let's dive in. So when this question came in, of course, one of my superpowers is asking really good questions. So I probed and asked the question of, does this happen? So I'm breaking this down for you so you can understand how to become more aware of the root issue you're experiencing. So my question to her, it was a female who asked this question, is this jaw clenching only when you're sleeping, or does it also happen during the day? So having that distinction is important in creating awareness. Even though since I've worked with the body and people for a long time and have a body myself, I can usually distinguish, but I want to help you create that distinction for yourself and that awareness for yourself. So the response was that it's all the time. It's happening all the time. A mouth guard is worn, so teeth aren't worn down. And this usually, what I've seen with people, especially as they age, if they don't have a mouth guard when they're younger, then they have to get one when they're older because it turns into the grinding, because it's a pattern that gets created. It becomes a habit. And so as long as something becomes a habit and we're not doing anything to counterbalance that habit, then it's going to stick around, it's going to get worse, so on and so forth. So then I asked the question, do you connect this, or have you connected this to any activities, specific activities that you're doing where you notice you're holding your jaw tight? Or, hello Mia, good to see you. Or do you notice thoughts that are coming up when you're holding that tension in your jaw? And the response was that she notices it when she's driving, that she's clenching her jaw, which is super, yes, Mia, which I would say is super normal. I've been in a lot of car accidents, so yeah, I probably clench my jaw when I'm in the car too. But driving is super stressful, so that is like a normal response trigger where we would likely hold our jaw in tension. The other was, which this is where it gets interesting, was when she watches movies. Interesting, right? You think you're watching a movie, you're being relaxed, and you're clenching your jaw. Well, upon further inspection, further probing, I asked, like, what stresses you out? Like, what would you say are your stressors? And the response was worrying about what other people think, worrying if I'm doing enough. So see, when you're relaxing, but you're worrying if you're doing enough, that's the connection. And trying to always be prepared. So you have this constant story, narrative going on in your head that you're not doing enough, even though you're trying to relax. And this is like all women that you may phrase it in another way, your worry in another way, but it is really hard for most people to relax, most women to relax, because we have been conditioned to always be there for other people. We have been conditioned as a society, men and women, that our worth is connected to how much we produce. And so this creates stressful patterns of tension within the body. And we all hold these patterns of tension differently. So I wanted to kind of lay that out for you so that you can see how these pieces connect. And when I asked the question with these stressors, like, where does it show up in your body? Even though I could guess the jaw, she said jaw and chest. So for the next step, if you think about holding your jaw tight, like even if you close your mouth right now and say that you are always like looking down at your phone. So you have your jaw, like maybe you're not biting it, but it's closed. So it's always in that closed or contracted state. And then add in, I'm looking down at my phone for most of the day. So when you're in that position, your jaw doesn't actually have and I'll get to some other things, an opportunity to relax in that position just because of how your head is postured. And adding in the neck and the chest to that is you're in a flexed position. So that just shortens the muscles in the front of the neck and lengthens them in the back. So then if you're in that position for most of the day, then that becomes a pattern, which then you experience tightness. So when you're in a contracted state, and if you're holding your jaw tight, then you're going to create more tightness and tension. And then you'll probably create more weakness on the backside of the neck and shoulders. So these are some of the ways that this can show up in the body. And we're like, what's going on? Well, it's all connected to the patterns that you're in, the postures that you're in most of the time. So one simple thing that you can do, which I find myself doing, like if I wake up during the middle of the night and I will consciously relax my jaw, not because it's clenched. It's not usually clenched. I just know that my mouth is closed, and so it hasn't relaxed. So putting the tip of your tongue at the roof of your mouth where your front teeth are, words are hard right now, that naturally relaxes your jaw. So just try it right now. And you'll notice that your breath also relaxes and you can open up that chest. So that tightness isn't there. So that's like a simple technique that you can implement throughout your day to not only relax your jaw, but also calm your breath and your nervous system, because it's all connected. So that's one of the things I wanted to share with you, but also, the patterns around our thoughts. So when we're having stressful thoughts or worrisome thoughts of I'm not doing enough, I always need to be prepared, or people aren't going to like me, or whatever the story is, or worrying about what people think, you can take those stories, actually, I encourage you to write them out, and all the way, don't judge them, just be a witness of what comes up and out, and then from that, rewrite a new narrative of each of those worrisome thoughts. So maybe your new narrative around worrying if I'm doing enough becomes each day, this is just off the top of my head, because this is how I like to work things for myself, is each day I give myself space to accomplish one thing. What's one thing that I am going to be super happy that I accomplished when my head hits the pillow at night? And accomplishing that thing. And then if you have time for more, great. But you are not, and this is a funny thing that's been coming to mind lately, it's you are not a printing press. You are not here to be this super productive press that just spits out all this whatever it is you think you need to accomplish in a day. And with that one thing, I like to choose one thing from my personal life and one thing from my professional life, because then that creates more harmony. You're not leaning so heavily into, oh my gosh, I have to get all this done in my professional life, and you leave yourself for last in your personal life, because that's going to make you unhappy, that's going to make you stressed, so on and so forth, and wherever that stress shows up in your body. So I wanted to share that. You have to, I shared that relaxation technique for your jaw. These are things that you need to be doing every day throughout the day. So it can't just be something you do once or you do for a few weeks and think that it's going to change. Think about how long it took for that pattern to occur, and it's going to take that amount of time, if not longer, to reverse it, because since it's a pattern, your body is going to want to follow that pattern until you create a new connection between the mind and the body for it to relax. And that's around safety, that's around calm, that is around utilizing your breath and utilizing that connection to your body and not always being in the head. This is my airplane. You're always in your head. Whatever they do on the airplane to direct you. So noticing that and being okay with it, accepting it, and just being committed, just being devoted to feeling better in your body and feeling better in your experience. I heard a saying recently of, if you want to feel better, you need to be a better feeler. So these worries that we have, these anxieties that we have to allow ourselves to witness them and feel them so that they can, the layer of it, or however many layers there are, they can dissipate. This helps you manage your energy. It helps you manage your life better. So I'll leave that there. Patterns exist too because we are, and this is related to what I was just saying, we are consciously and subconsciously reinforcing them. So the more that we can do the opposite pattern, even just putting, it's the simplest things, putting your tongue to the top of your mouth, that can help not reinforce that conscious and subconscious pattern. Writing out those worries and fears and rewriting that narrative can do the same. So it always comes down to our beliefs, what emotions are behind those. And some of those examples that I shared are mental and emotional feelings or thoughts or beliefs that come up. So we have to address those to have the shift occur in the body. So last thing. So one huge thing that I believe comes up around women, because I've experienced it myself. All of my clients hands down have had this experience as well. So when you think of the jaw and the mouth, and if you're worried about what other people think or how they're perceiving you, or if you're doing enough, if you are enough, then you're likely holding back your voice and your expression. And so when we hold back our voice and our expression, of course, we're going to hold our mouth closed more tightly. So what are ways in which you can feel safe expressing yourself a little bit more? I'm not saying like go balls to the wall at the beginning, but what are like some safe steps that you can take to express yourself, whether that be within friendships or whether that be in your intimate relationship, if you're in one, whether that be within your business, or in career, what are safe ways? And it can even be in your dress. It might not, you don't even have to necessarily always be voicing something, but where are you holding yourself back in your expression? Can be movement, can be dress, it can be voice, it's likely all of those, but where's a place that you can start showing your expression a little more? Since I work with high achievers and they're wanting to go to their next level of success, it's a lot of how am I showing up? Like, you may have made the shift to your next level, like mentally, but where is it that you're still acting out in old ways where is that expression not match where you're going? And that's usually a place that you can make a shift, so that then again, all of these things support in anchoring in more safety in our body, connecting to our strength, our personal power, and creating more harmony. Like I have long, like the word balance for people, there's this narrative around it that it's like this thing that we find outside of ourselves when life calms down. And it's not that at all. It's not about life calming down so that then we receive balance. Our balance shows up, as I was explaining in the beginning, through these patterns. And if we're holding our posture in a certain way all the time, well, the opposite of that pattern, if we're here, is to open here. So you create that balance in and through your body, which shifts how you experience life and how you feel through your day-to-day and how you're showing up and how other people experience you. So yeah, I think that's where we're at. I was going to share some stretches for the neck, because when these are contracted or shortened, then you can do different techniques to help release those muscles. But I feel like what came through today is what needs to be said and is perfect. If there's any more support that you are looking for around this or around any other experience you're having in your body, then you can definitely reach out, because it is my joy and my superpower to work with you in this way. And I'm actually, so long since I've been doing any work and sharing my work online, I have always done that through longer programs, which are 8 weeks to 4 months. And although I'm still doing that, I'm opening up ways to work with me in shorter time spans. So through 90-minute sessions where we do what's called body-mind alchemy, which is some of what I walked you through today, but where we can really shift this energy and release this tension. And then some other ways are creating more energy balance in your life. And that's more of a month-long approach, but yeah, I wanted to let you know that, and I will see you next week. If you have any questions, just either DM me or drop them in the comments. I am here. Talk to you soon. Bye. I'm glad that was super helpful, Janine. I will see you soon. Bye for now.